Hello, my name is Quintus and I am publishing a new fly every month on my website www.meckejang.lu. You see it there.
The fly of the month of May 2014 is a Paraloop Mayfly. To tie this fly we will use a Tiemco 2487 or Camazan B100 in size 10 or 12, a black medium tying thread. For the extended body we will use badger hair and deer hair. The Paraloop will be made with horsehair and a natural down cock feather. For the body we will use a dark grey dubbing, and the wing will be made with a yellow teal feather. We will fix the thread on a needle that we have clamped in our vise. Secure it for a few turns, put the remaining in the material holder, and then we will tie in 3 badger hair tips. Then we will cut a small bunch of deer hair, align the tips in our hair stacker and tie them in with the tips just on the tip of the needle. Flip the deer hair tips backwards, taking care not to flip also the badger hair backwards. Create the first segment by winding a few turns of tying thread. Then bring the tying thread over the needle in between the deer hair tips and create the next segment. Proceed in the same way to create the other segments of the extended body. When the last segment is finished, we will make a whip finish on this segment and cut off the tying thread. Now we can remove the extended body from the needle and replace the needle by the hook. Tie in the thread at the eye of the hook and wind it in close turns to the beginning of the curvature of the hook, so that you are finishing just above the point of the hook. Cut off the excess of tying thread and wind the thread back for 2 or 3 turns. This is the place where we're going to tie in the extended body. Tie it in with the last segment Pull on the thread that is still within the extended body. This allows you to shape the curved form of the extended body. Cut off the excess of deer hair and of the thread. Secure the remaining tips with a few turns of tying thread and tie in the horsehair close to the eye of the hook. Secure it backwards to the beginning of the extended body. Fix the horsehair in the gallows of your vise. Tie in the cock feather in front of the horsehair, secure it and wind the last turn behind the horsehair. Now we are going to wind the paraloop, winding the feather upwards along the horsehair for 1.5 centimeters approximately. And when these 1.5 centimeters are covered with cock feather tips, we'll wind the feather backwards to the shank of the hook. We will secure the feather by winding a few turns of thread around the horsehair above the hook shank. Cut off the excess of the feather and brush backwards the fiber tips that are around the horsehair. Brush them back towards the curvature of the hook. Fix the horsehair in your materials clamp Now we are going to prepare the teal feather, which we will use for the wings. Using your fingers, brush back the fiber tips and cut into the brushed back fiber tips. Then brush them back into their original position, making sure that you have on each side the same number of tips. Tie in the feather with a few loose turns. Pull back the feather until the fiber tips have the length that you wish to have for the wings. Secure the feather tips with a few turns, then cut off the excess of the feather. Lift the feather tips and wind a few turns in front of the feather tips to lift them upwards. Then separate them into roughly equal parts and fix them in this position with figure 8 windings. Twist some dark grey dubbing onto your thread. Wind the thread backwards to the paraloop post, then wind 1 or 2 turns with the dubbed thread behind the paraloop. After that, we will wind the rest of the body with a dubbed thread. Retwist it sometimes and wind 1 turn in front of the wings. Split the wings . Flip the horsehair in between the 2 wings to the front, close to the eye, and tie it in at the eye. Separate again the wings that we've pushed together by this operation and pull the paraloop in between the wings to the eye of the hook by pulling on the horsehair. Secure the horsehair with a few turns. Then cut off the excess of horsehair. Make a whip finish behind the eye of the hook to secure your windings and cut off the thread. Using your fingers, bring the extended body into the correct position.
You can download the detailed tying instructions for this fly and for all the previous ones on my website www.meckejang.lu. Leave a message in the guest book with your email address and I will send you a mail every time a new fly is published. See you in tight lines.